Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Persona 3 FES, and we're back on the Moonlight Bridge, or Moonlit Bridge, whatever it's called. And today, we're going to see exactly just why I didn't do all this last week, because this took me an hour and 40 minutes to record in full. Recorded it all last night, so I made sure I actually got through it, because this was not exactly as easy to fight as I remember it being. Oh, excuse me. Though there is one very important tip I might offer if you do want to make this a lot easier on yourself. It doesn't make it easy, but it makes it easier. And that's to have a persona that's immune to strike attacks.
This is it. I'll do everything in my power to help you. Just promise me that you'll be careful.
Because if you do not have a persona that's immune to strike attacks, you're probably going to get pummeled by akasha arts. Probably. That's what happened to me.
I think that floating thing is your main target, but it's out of your attack range. Give me a minute. I'll see what I can find.
Okay, for the record, this is the absolute worst makeup you could ever have as far as party goes here.
Scan the target.
Why? Well, because Mitsuru is weak to fire, those two are weak to lightning, and I'm weak to, with wrong to out, a lot of different things. But don't worry, I'll guarantee this will work. It'll be stupid, but this will work.
I can do it. Initiating summon sequence.
Because this will be one of the dumbest ways you've ever seen this done. Oh, by the way, this is a very annoying fight where the thing just summons a bunch of stuff and then eventually just pummels you. So this is one of those kind of fights. It takes a long time.
It summoned another shadow.
I mean, a long time. A lot longer than I remember it being. This is going to be one of those fights. A lot of weaknesses and a lot of us falling down. So get used to it now.
For some reason, those statues, they must be real.
I don't like it, but that's the way it's going to go.
Obey my command.
Ideally, you'd have someone like Akihiko and maybe like Junpei for this. Well, no, Junpei maybe not, because I think he's weak to ice. Excuse me, except for that, like, after his transformation, which I don't think's happened yet. But anyway, once all three fall down, it falls down, and you can get an all-out attack if it's by itself. Or if that happens right there.
With an all-out fatal strike.
Now, you could make the argument you should kill the tiny ones before you knock down the big one. And that's a perfectly legitimate strategy, but you're wasting more time if you can't kill it in one turn. Which, at this level, you probably are not going to be able to do. Excuse me, even if you send everybody against that one particular enemy. So, I prefer to just have them target just the boss. Because you only get a very limited amount of time to actually hit the boss in the first place, so you want to take maximum advantage of it. But beware, the boss will use that little, whatever the heck that thing is, against you, the enemy. It's a very dramatic way of doing it, but it doesn't hurt all that bad, really. I'd recommend just ignoring them. Considering all it does is really use him as a suicide soldier, and it only does like 30 damage to everybody. Still 120 damage to everybody. Or combined to everybody. Now, as you can tell, God's hand really, really hurts. But if you have Rongda, or any other persona like that, it'll just hit itself. You have to hope that it'll hit you, but that's probably where you're going to die. Either God's hand or Akasha Arts in this fight, if you're going to die. You're probably not going to die from the self-destruct. You're probably not going to even die from the elemental spells, unless you have really, really bad luck. And this fight is, I think, the longest fight in this entire series. Actually, I think this might be the longest fight in the entire Persona 3 and Persona 4 series. And I believe this is also the only fight where I had to really consider using an item. Now, as you see, the thing's on fire. It's going to blow up next turn. Like I said, it'll do about 30 damage to everybody, maybe a little less if you use Matsurunda. And then it's gone for good. He'll summon more, but that one in itself is gone for good. So, like I said, unless you can kill it in one turn, it's really not even worth it to go and try and kill it like I'm doing here, because I hadn't realized that yet. Because, I hadn't really learned how difficult it is to kill that. So we just wasted a turn, and we got hit. If we'd used it on the boss, we would have been that much closer to killing the boss. Get used to that. People are going to die all throughout this fight. That's not something I'm proud of, but I know it's going to happen. And then I'm not proud of the way this battle went. I'm not. Because this fight starts off pretty well. I mean, we're doing alright. Someone died once, but this is going to quickly spiral out of control here if I screw up just a little bit. Or if Yukari's AI decides, you know what, I don't need to use Meteorama, and she will do that. I'm just telling you, the AI will do that. And then you're in some really good crap, because they'll use medical powder instead.
Ice is ineffective. Proceeding.
Tactics play a really big role in this fight. If you hadn't gathered as much, if you just ignore the tactics, your people are going to be hitting everything, everywhere, and you're not going to be focusing any damage on anything, which is probably going to lead to your dying. So make sure you don't neglect that, because it really makes a difference when everybody's hitting the boss, as opposed to just going, I'm gonna hit the little one. And then Mitsuru goes, no, you know what, I think I'll hit the boss.
It doesn't seem like darkness will work.
Obviously, the 2 instant kills don't work. It should not have been a great surprise to most anybody out there. So if you brought Koromaru or Ken, oh boy.
Understood.
I wouldn't have done that. Of course, I've never understood why people use them in boss fights anyway. Unless they don't only have Hama and Muda, which I'm sure they probably don't just have that, but that's all I really remember off them. And yeah, sometimes you gotta stick with the little heal, because you realize eventually the AI doesn't heal the way you want them to.
Summoning persona.
I'm actually thinking about skipping ahead. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm actually thinking about skipping ahead after this video, because I'm sorry, I have the hiccups today. Because this is just going to be an extremely long fight. I think I timed this whole fight, and I think it came to about 50 minutes long? A 50-minute long fight? We're not even a fifth of the way through the fight. I mean, I enjoy just sitting here just rambling out of nowhere myself, but there's a limit to how much I can do that without boring the crap out of you. See, that's what you want to have happen, but it's very rare that will actually happen. And Wronged is not really the best persona for this fight, make no mistake. It's actually a terrible persona for this fight, but it works. Ideally, you don't want to use Wronged during the setup phase, meaning where you have to kill all the statues, but you want to use her when it falls down, I think. Because if you leave Wronged out during the other phase, you're gonna end up on your butt. As evidenced in this video at some point, it happens a lot. Obviously, keeping people's health up is a priority, but sometimes it's just not possible with Aegis there. Because she got crit in the face. And there's not much I can do about that.
System rebooted. Obey my command.
I hope you've been stocking up on your items, because you're probably going to need them this fight if you're low level like I am. And the fight begins anew, and you gotta kill all 3 of the Stingies again. And that's why I said this fight, well, I guess I didn't say it yet, but I will say it now. This fight is essentially designed to be as annoying and takes as long as possible. That's it. It's to just drain you. It's supposed to feel like the final boss fight. It's supposed to feel like, you know, will this ever end? Will it ever freaking die?
Understood.
At least I think that's what it's supposed to feel like. If it's not, they really screwed it up terribly, because that's the way it feels.
Watch it. Light.
It would make sense with their whole, this is the final battle rhetoric that they've been spouting for the past 3 weeks. You know, they really went all out on the illusion here. Never mind the fact that after this battle, I think there literally is about half an hour of cutscenes, so you can't really do anything in. Yeah, this is the part that's really annoying with my party composition, because 3 of the 4 of us are weak to electricity. This is a bit of a problem if you are, you know, not very lucky or very well prepared for it. Because now I got 1 turn to their 3 or 4. This is why having Akihiko instead of, say, Aegis would be a very good idea in this fight. Basically, just any other composition than this one's good. This is pretty much the worst composition.
Careful. I believe a new tactic is in order.
There's really nothing more to this phase of the fight. I mean, actually, I think this is pretty much the whole fight. I don't think he really gets a whole lot more. No, seriously, I'm pretty sure this is like the whole fight. So after this, I might like about 20 minutes in, I might just skip to the end because this is a very long fight. And no one really, I can't imagine, wants to watch the whole darn thing. And if you do, whoops, I'm sorry about that, but you know, if anybody's getting cheated here, it's me, because I recorded 80 minutes of this stuff and I'm only going to be putting up like 25, alright? I feel cheated.
Understood.
Actually, no, it's going to be more than 25. The cutscenes themselves are more than 25 minutes, but I meant of this boss fight. Besides, I would imagine what you want to see is the cutscenes more than the battle anyway, but I don't know that. I mean, you've pretty much seen the way this fight goes. Just, you know, you gotta kill the small ones, you gotta kill the other statues, and then he comes down, you hit him, that's it. He's far more dangerous when he's downstairs, but, I mean, beyond that, it is what it is here.
It's using those other shadows as bombs. Watch it carefully. You can.
Yeah, you can also tell when it's gonna explode because it happens the next turn, but like I said, I don't even bother trying to kill them because they don't do much damage. Now, you could argue that they do enough damage that their akasha arts can basically kill anybody, and that is right. That they are very dangerous then. But there's not much you can do at that point. You know, that's perfectly alright. That's not up. It can't use akasha arts right now. But if it was up and it used that, then we could be in some trouble, because while it only does 30 or so damage, sometimes you only live through akasha arts with only 30 damage left. So, I mean, it's one of those small cogs that can really kill you kind of things, I think.
Understood.
But, I mean, sometimes you just gotta muscle through it and hope you don't die, because otherwise you gotta try and kill that one thing in one turn, which is extremely difficult. That's why I recommend being at least level 50 for this fight. I'm not, but that's why I recommend it. Makes it easier to survive the HP thresholds, a lot easier. And you actually want that thing to use armed and ready, because like I said, it doesn't do very much damage. I mean, you can use this turn to basically heal yourself and cast Marakukaja if you have it. Something, anything. Masukukaja, Masukunda, cast anything to help keep your butts alive. I prefer Maturunda here because it's the only one I really have reliably. That would reliably help, you know. Masukunda hasn't really helped me 100% throughout all the battles I've had. No, seriously. I'm really considering just skipping ahead at this point because there's like nothing new you haven't seen yet. And I think after it falls down one more phase, or actually once it goes back up, we'll skip ahead, because, you know, at this point, we're not really seeing anything new, and we won't be seeing anything new, I don't think, for the rest of the fight. I don't think there's any big attacks. I'm pretty sure there's not, because I would have died if there was.
Hang in there. Summoning persona.
As you can tell, this thing has way too much life. Now, normally, it will stay down for about 3 akasha arts. Sometimes 2,
Obey my command.
usually only 3. And then it'll go back up and summon more statues. If my observations were right. I can't remember if that was the 2nd or 3rd akasha arts. All I know was I killed Mitsuru. But if you're having trouble remembering when it will leave, that's a good rule to go by. Because generally speaking, it's pretty true. Maybe not always, but he'll usually leave by 3rd turn, or the 3rd akasha arts. And I'm pretty sure that should be the statues. Yep, that's the statues. Okay, so we're skipping ahead to the final phase of the thing, because this is... I don't want to watch this for half an hour, and I doubt you do either. Okay, and we're back. And this is on its last legs. Well, in a manner of speaking, it's really not on its legs at all, but... it's almost dead. And as you'll see, I'm doing nothing but the same thing of what I was just doing, and that's why I skipped ahead.
Understood.
What you see in the beginning of this fight is exactly what you're going to get at the end of this fight. There's no surprises. Which I'm happy about, at the same time I'm a bit disappointed. I mean, who doesn't like just automatically dying at the end of a fight because you didn't know what was coming? I mean, we all love that, right? That was sarcasm, by the way, in case the game developers watching this. Please don't do that. No one likes Sigma from Mega Man, okay? No one liked him. We especially didn't like it when he had the lightsaber, okay? That phase was terrible. Please don't do that. And if you have no idea who Sigma is, you're probably like, dude, whoever that is, you just suck. Okay, Sigma was the boss of bosses, where everything was fine, everything was cool, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he came back from the dead and killed you out of nowhere. There was no logical lore reason for it, he just did it. Getting off of Mega Man, because I'm sure people are like, what the hell does that have to do with anything? It doesn't. It has nothing to do with anything. I was just kind of rambling there. This fight's pretty much over. And it has a lot more health than it says, because I think it should be dead now, personally. But the game argues differently, because it still has health. Okay, there we go, finally. So once you finally fell the beast, you're not going to be getting away from the console anytime soon. Trust you me on that, you're going to be stuck in a whole hell of a lot of cutscenes. For the foreseeable future, really, so get used to it.